Let's talk first about these realtor commissions and some of the stuff that's going on there. You have these realtor commission changes that are going on. And anecdotally, I asked my realtor that we work with in the Boots on the Ground program, one of my closer relationships, I'm just like, what do you think about this thing, man? Like, you're in the biz, you're on the buyer side typically as a buyer's agent. And what they've done is they've uncoupled realtor commission. So they made it that you can't advertise that you're giving the buyer's agent a guaranteed percentage rate on the MLS. It doesn't mean you can't advertise that you are giving them a percentage split. You would just have to do that as a realtor on your personal website, which is interesting. So they haven't gotten rid of commission splitting at all. They've just taken it off of the MLS and made it a bit more. They've kind of made it more transparent and less transparent. I'm going to talk about why that's important. The reason that they did this is they want realtors to lower their fees. They want there to be more negotiation, more transparency. When you uncouple this, almost you're like kind of killing a monopoly. You're creating the opportunity for competition amongst different real estate brokerage groups. So one group of sellers agents may decide, you know what, we're not going to take 6%, we'll take 5%, and then we'll figure it out with the buyer's agent. So now there's just a little bit more competition. Maybe another group is newer, they say we'll do 4%, and we'll split it 2 and 2. And the buyer's agents, because they're not guaranteed 3% at a higher scale, they're more likely to say, okay, we'll take the 2 here, we'll take the 1 over here, the 1.5 there, the 3 there. They're just going to mix it all up and kind of put that money together at the end of the day. So creating the opportunity for competition, hypothetically, in a free market should lead to some people trying to undercut other people, which ultimately will price gouge. It will reduce fees. My agent just said, look, I'm not worried about this. Some agents are dramatic. They're like, oh, I'm going to quit the business. This is the end. And not a lot of people feel that way. The smart agents, in my opinion, are just like, whatever. We'll see how this thing shakes out. But the bottom line is people still need buyer's agents. People still need seller's agents. And there's still going to be real estate commissions. The seller is likely to still pay those. There's kind of a lot of fear mongering out there that says, oh, well, the seller is only going to pay their percent and then the buyer is going to have to pay their own fees. That's not really going to happen. Think about a $600,000 home sale and you're the seller. Are you going to try to keep 2% of that sale and then slow down the sale because you don't want to split any commissions with the buyer's agent? And who's going to come and buy that property and pay that 2-3% out of their pocket to get the deal? You're going to limit your pool of buyers. And as a seller, you don't want to do that. You want to open this up to as many buyers as possible who will bid up the price of your property. So you're incentivized at all times to make this easier on buyers to come and see your property and to have their agents get paid. You certainly don't want their agents doing something called steering. And this is a consequence of uncoupling real estate commissions, is that a buyer's agent can look and say, oh, well, you're not going to pay me 3%. Well, these guys are over here, so I'm going to go show their properties to my buyers. I'm not showing your property because you're not paying me. So buyer's agents could hypothetically steer buyers away from properties where they get lower commissions, and it will happen. I don't think there's going to be as much of a shakeout as people think. I think this is just going to be kind of business as usual for the most part. There's going to be more back and forth between buyers and sellers agents. You're just not going to see the activity through the MLS. We can't see it anyway because we don't have that vision. We don't have that access to the MLS that the agents have. But it's now going to be pulled off of that and put on private sites, and the negotiations will happen directly through the buyers and sellers agents. So I wouldn't worry about it. It's kind of the big deal. I wouldn't worry about this at all. I think it's going to be a non-issue. It's going to be business as usual. This is just clickbait that's out there. And nobody's really saying that. But if you watch any of these podcasts, I mean, they'll talk about this for an hour. Oh, this could happen, that could happen. At the end of the day, nobody knows. And when I've gone straight to the horse's mouth and done my research, I'm looking at it and saying, this is a bunch of nonsense. This is just a way for people to clickbait and get people to watch the news and get higher ratings. I mean, it's nonsense. Sellers are still going to pay the majority of these commissions. They're going to come out of the sell side, and they're going to split the commissions between the buyer and seller. There's just going to be more negotiation. There's going to be different rates and tiers. And ultimately, it should bring down the ultimate commission rate from probably 6%, maybe down to as low as like 4% on average. And I was doing some more research, and it showed that across the globe, the average realtor commission is only like 2% on the buy and sell side. So they're like splitting a point on each side. So it's extremely high in the US. 6% as just a fixed transaction fee is extremely high when we compare that to what's going on internationally. Internationally, it's 2%. So maybe agents are getting paid too much, but I know how hard my agent hustles and how hard real estate agents hustle. And it's worth 3%, guys. Like, it's a lot of work to go back and forth, to meet at properties, chase down sellers agents, negotiate back and forth. It's work, and it's not work that you necessarily want to cut out agents and do yourself. This is a value add. Even somebody like me who's purchased over 300 properties, I've essentially always used realtors. I swear by realtors. They have a value. They are not going to educate you about, you know, how much it's going to cost to renovate a property or any of these things, but they do offer value. A quick question we got is, how are you finding buyers? I'm more on the buy side, so I'm not finding buyers. I'm looking for properties. I'm always on the buy side, and I'm always building properties and doing the birth strategy, which we'll talk about in a little bit. The boots on the ground, how does that work? We find the properties, we finance them, so we connect you with the lending partners. We rehab the properties, we tenant them, and we manage them for you. It's a complete turnkey service, and that's just how that works. So if you're looking for a way where somebody can come in and do everything for you, and you keep the property, you own it, you keep all the cash flow, you're going to keep all the equity, we will facilitate that with our in-house teams.